I am really, really happy to announce our next show, which I'm actually in, which is Narcissist, a Psychopath, and a Machiavellian walk into a bar, written by Dave Rand McKay.
Thanks for coming out, everybody. That is correct. That is the name of this show. And, well, actually, yeah, let me bring my audience, my wonderful performers out. Let me give you a little spiel about this show. Some of you might have been to my earlier show, which was a bunch of short scripts written by AI. Originally, I wanted to, this was my test case of like, oh, I'm going to have an AI help me write something. But I found out that an AI actually has lots of moral parameters. Yeah, and it's like, so if you're trying to write something with the help of an AI, if the thing you're writing has any violence, any blood, any weapons, a gun, it just says, I'm uncomfortable writing this. And I kept on thinking, if I just write some of it and then tell it to finish it, maybe I could get it going if it's not a violent part. But actually, anything about anyone with like psychological problems, such as a personality disorder, it will just refuse. And I kept on doing it, and then finally I was like, actually, I've almost written this thing myself by making prompts. And so I just decided I will wrap it up. And so during the Trump years, I read a lot about narcissists and psychopaths and Machiavellians, and I just was reading, and I just thought to myself, you know, what if people with these personality disorders like got together? Like, what would pull them together? What would they do? What would happen if a narcissist, a psychopath, and a Machiavellian walk into a bar together? What would happen? And so this script is the result. I do want to introduce. Oh yeah, here's your script. I do want to introduce my cast. Jason Kruger, who already introduced himself a little bit, but he's playing two roles. Allison Anderson is going to be our Machiavellian. A Machiavellian, by the way, it's a long story, but they're someone who's kind of a puppet master, and they feel like they can control people. Angela Fox here is going to play our narcissist. And these roles were not picked because of their personality quirks.
Thank you for saying that.
Okay.
Yes, they were.
Angela Fox, and then Garrick Dietz. Garrick is going to be our psychopath. Also, he's in the show, and that's a little joke. Okay, but that's. I feel all the setup that I'm going to do. There might be enough time. Well, I don't know. Dregs went a little over, but there might be a little time at the end for a little talk back to because this is a very rough draft. I really kind of crushed it to get this ready for this weekend. But I do plan on making lots of improvements before. This is my rough draft of my Fringe show. I got a Fringe slot. Thank you. My strategy was, I was like, I bet people are too cowardly to apply for the largest venue. Maybe if I do that, I'll be a shoo-in. And I was. And now I have to have a show there, okay. Well, with no further ado, I do just want to hand it over to my cast. Jason also, as well as playing two roles, he's going to be reading the few kind of stage directions and stuff that are in here. And so, like I said, without much further speaking, I'll hand it over to my cast.
Our setting is a doctor's office waiting room.
Say, weren't you an actor in that one show? You were absolutely fantastic. I have no idea how you can do so many different characters. I've heard a lot about you.
Oh, I've heard that I'm the best. Oh, no, do go on. No, go on.
Oh.
Yeah, no, but really, I mean, that is what you heard, right? No, I'm glad you recognized that. I mean, you should talk to my shrink. They're full of nothing but critiques.
I'm not sure the psychiatrist will recognize that. They didn't even show up for our appointment.
What? I mean, that's simply unacceptable. I mean, my time is very limited. Well, surely they will show up for mine.
I doubt it. They're probably too busy dealing with someone, I guess, more important than us.
Impossible. Nobody is more important than me. Joking.
Well, we could wait here and see if they show up. I'm sure we have plenty of things we could discuss.
Fine. I suppose I can indulge you for a little while. But just so you know, I don't really have much bandwidth to deal with other people's problems. I have to practice self-care in that regards.
Of course. I completely understand. I am just a bit worried, or at least I know I should be, you know what I mean? He tells me I need to work on being a better person, and I think a better person would want to find out what happened to him, solve this mystery, and I am trying to get better.
Oh, yeah, me too. Trying so hard.
Hey, look at that. The door to the psychiatrist's office is slightly open.
Wait, they didn't lock it? I mean, that's just asking for trouble.
Maybe. Do you think that he fell asleep and is in there? Or maybe he had a heart attack and died? Do you think they could be near death right now and just clinging to life and just waiting for our rescue? Do you want to investigate with me?
Investigate? Well, I mean, I don't want it to get around to people that I snoop.
Goes into the office.
Well, nobody napping in here. You sure you don't want to check this out? He left a bunch of papers out all over the place. Could find something useful that we could use as leverage over them. Look, I can joke too. Oh, look at that. Gross.
Oh, coming! I'm coming!
So what do you think the psychiatrist is hiding?
Who knows? Maybe they have a stash of like secret drugs. Or maybe they have some juicy gossip about the other patients. What was so gross?
Interesting theories. Look over there on the desk. Is that a gun?
What? Oh, let me see that. Wow, that's a nice piece. I bet it's worth a fortune.
It's not about the money, my friend. It's about the power that comes with having something like this in one's possession. We could use it to intimidate or even to protect ourselves if necessary. In theory, of course. Well, it didn't do him much good in here.
You're right. Should we secure it for him? Oh, gross. Like for real gross. What's on that door handle? Oh my God, it looks like blood.
Blood? That is definitely worth investigating further. Yeah, I can say with all due authority that it is indeed a red liquid. Maybe the psychiatrist has some enemies.
Or maybe the psychiatrist is a murderer. I mean, that would certainly make things more interesting. I mean, his prices, sure, murder. You get it?
Yeah.
Like murder.
Murder.
Death in here.
Yes, extremely funny. Well done.
Thanks.
But let's not jump to conclusions. We need to gather more information before we make any assumptions. Look at this. There are all these drink tickets on the desk for that bar down the street.
Well, so what? I mean, maybe the psychiatrist enjoys a drink after work.
Possibly. But so many. Wait, I've seen these before. Someone has been leaving them on my car each night. Maybe the psychiatrist might be involved in some shady business with the bar. Let's go.
Well, technically, I'm an alcoholic.
Oh, come on, you don't have to drink. It's just fun to have a mystery to solve, right? What if we solve it? Think of it.
No, I meant to say that since I am an alcoholic, of course I want to go to the bar. But I mean, I feel ripped off that the psychiatrist never gave me any of the drink tickets.
Don't you think it's because they know you have a problem with alcohol? They think they're trying to help you. Well, I always had these on my car after appointments.
Help me? Yeah, they're the one who proclaimed that I'm an alcoholic and a narcissist, and I disagree with both diagnoses, by the way.
But disagreeing with the diagnosis is a classic narcissist viewpoint. So in doing that, you only played into his hands. Let me guess. You have never read anything about your own diagnosis, have you? Also just a classic narcissist move, deliciously predictable.
I see your point. I mean, I skimmed some, but I mean, it gets exhausting reading about everything wrong about yourself. Hypothetically, that is. I mean, but what about you? Do you agree with your diagnosis?
I don't believe in diagnoses. They're just labels that people use to control each other. But if I had to choose, I suppose I would agree with the diagnosis of being a Machiavellian over other personality disorders. It has a certain ring to it, don't you think? At least it has not earned such a bad name as others.
I suppose. But labels can be useful. I mean, when they don't apply to me anyway. Well, no sign of him here, and I really don't want to be caught snooping. So how about that drink?
The Machiavellian and the Narcissist enter the bar, looking around with interest. The bartender greets them with a smile. Hi there, can I get you something?
Yes, we have these drink tickets. We were wondering if we could use them in here.
Of course, just give me the tickets and I'll get you your free drinks.
Wow, that's so amazing. You're so generous.
Yes, it's almost too good to be true. But I have a feeling there's more to it than just free drinks.
Excuse me?
Oh, he's just being paranoid. Don't mind him.
I'm not paranoid, I'm just observant. You seem like the kind of person who has a lot of secrets.
What are you talking about?
Well, for one thing, you don't seem very happy. In fact, I would say you have a touch of depression.
What? How could you possibly know that?
Yeah, he's just being ridiculous. Don't listen to him.
I'm not being ridiculous. I can see the signs. The way you hold yourself, the way you talk, it's all very telling.
I don't know what to say. You're right, I do suffer from depression, but how did you know?
I have a way of knowing. I have a sixth sense for these things. And I think I could help you with your depression. We have a lot of experience dealing with mental health issues.
Speak for yourself. I don't have any mental health issues.
No, of course not. But don't worry, we'll figure it out together. We'll be your therapists, if you will.
I don't know, this all seems a bit strange, but maybe it's worth a shot.
Excellent. We'll start by asking you some questions. It's important to get to the root of the problem.
Okay, go ahead.
I've never had depression. I'm too strong for that.
Trying to bring the conversation back around to yourself, huh? Another classic move. Well played. Anyway, that's what you think. But even the strongest of us can be brought down by mental illness. Have you ever felt sad or anxious for no reason?
No, never. I'm always in control of all of my emotions.
So glad to hear it. Why did your last play get such horrible reviews anyway?
Wait, what?
Just kidding. Glad to see you're so very much in control. Interesting. And what about you, bartender? Have you ever felt like life was too much to handle?
Well, sometimes I feel like I'm drowning in a sea of sadness.
Well, that's ridiculous. Life is meant to be enjoyed. You just need to toughen up. I mean, you're welcome. Oh my God, I could do this for a living.
Let's sidestep your always telling analysis for the moment, although I do appreciate the insight it gives me. Insight into you, anyway. But it's not that simple. Depression is real illness, and it requires real treatment. But don't worry, we can help you with that.
You came from the psychiatrist's office, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that office has multiple doctors. I appreciate your concern. Thank you.
Of course, of course. Don't mention it.
Yeah, to anybody. Just don't.
We're here to help. Now let's talk about your childhood. That's usually where these issues begin.
Childhood? What does that have to do with anything? I mean, I had a great childhood.
Are you sure about that? Sometimes our childhood traumas can resurface later in life, and our mental health and even conversational quirks that are not particularly productive.
I'm positive. My parents loved me. Oh, and I had plenty of friends, and I was always the center of attention. I mean, if anything, life was better then.
I see. And what about you, bartender? Did you have a difficult childhood?
Yes, I did. My parents fought all the time, and I never felt like I belonged anywhere.
Well, that's no excuse. You need to get over it and move on. I mean, we all have our problems.
Not everyone has the same problems, and not everyone can just get over it. But we'll work on that together. We'll find a way to help you both overcome your mental health issues. We're all working at making ourselves better here, right?
Right. So hard, working so hard to be better, yep.
By the way, I should mention that I also have a personality disorder. I'm a Machiavellian, in case you were wondering.
I see. And how has that affected your life?
Oh, it's been quite the challenge, let me tell you. I used to be very manipulative and selfish, but with the help of our psychiatrist, I've learned how to be a better person. I genuinely want to make a positive impact on the world.
And I have a personality disorder too. I'm a narcissist. I mean, I'm sure you were wondering. It's a very, very, very important and famous disability.
I see. And how are you working on improving yourself?
Well, I've realized that I need to listen to other people more. I've been too focused on myself for too long. But I'm willing to change. I mean, after all, if I am the center of the universe and I want to make the world a better place, I have to start with myself, right?
Your logic is irrefutable.
Yeah.
It's all about self-improvement. We can't change the world unless we change ourselves first.
It's true.
I can see that you both have come a long way. I'm impressed by your dedication to self-improvement. And to be doctors on top of it all, you are nothing like the doctor I met. Randy, right? Dr. Randy McKay?
Of course. I mean, we're always striving to be the best that we can be. That's what sets us apart from everybody else.
Indeed. And with your help, bartender, we can make even greater strides towards becoming better versions of ourselves. Our colleague did not show up to work today, actually. Can I ask you a couple questions about him?
I'm happy to help in any way I can. And who knows, maybe I can learn a thing or two from you as well.
I doubt it. I mean, we're kind of in a league of our own.
Don't be too hard on him. We all have something to offer. Now, what can you tell me about our Dr. Randy McKay?
He asked if we have drink tickets he can give to people, and I said yes, and that is all I know. I never heard from him again.
Well, drat.
Excuse me. Did I overhear you talking about Dr. Randy?
Yes, you know him. Let me guess. Depression.
Well, I'm not depressed, but I probably should be since alcohol is a depressant.
Oh, who are you?
Just a patron of the bar and a customer of the psychiatrist you were supposed to meet with today.
What do you mean? Do you know what happened to them?
I wish I did. They were supposed to meet with me as well, but they never showed up. Oh, and by the way, they're not even answering the phone.
Well, that's strange. I hope they're okay.
Oh my God. He says that to you too, by the way. You can't love others until you love yourself.
By the way, you get out of the universe only what you put into the universe.
By the way, what you were doing is a sign you're a serial killer.
Maybe they had an emergency. Or maybe they just forgot. It happens to the best of us.
But not to a trained professional like them. There's something fishy going on here.
Agreed. We should investigate this further. We can't just let this go.
What do you suggest we do? You want to know his address and go check in on him?
Dear Lord, you had that info this entire time? Well, I am sorry to say we have learned all that alcohol and sadness can teach us. Write that info down, barkeep. We are back on the trail.
We'll need to see if there are any clues out there, and then we'll follow the trail wherever it leads.
Hey, look who else is doing the excellent planning here.
Well, I learned from the best.
You mean yourself, don't you?
I do. Sorry, I'm trying to be better, really.
Never you mind. Let's get to it.
Back to the psychiatrist's house.
Oh, the door is open here, too. That can't be a coincidence.
I don't know, but we need to stay focused. We have something that will help us figure out what's going on. Say there, new friend, what was your diagnosis again?
Technically, I'm a psychopath, but I don't know if I completely agree with...
Don't agree with it, right? Yeah, see, I'm already starting to like you. I mean, what do psychopaths do again? I'm going out on a little bit of a limb here, but does it have anything to do with psychic abilities?
Dear God, read a book sometime. It won't be literal torture. Let's just say that psychopaths are known for being just a tad bit aggressive.
I I just don't have regular emotions like other people is all.
And how does that make you feel?
It doesn't. That is kind of the problem. I am pretty numb most of the time. It's not all bad. I don't have personal problems other people have when dealing with their emotions. I just don't really have any emotions. Not usually. But I'm honestly trying to be better.
Of course. I as well.
Oh, me too. Me too. Hey, maybe the psychiatrist was dealing with some personal problems. Or maybe they had a patient that was getting too aggressive.
It's possible, but we won't know until we find more information. Let's keep looking.
As they search the office, they come across a piece of paper with a calendar and a big red X on today's date.
What's this? It finishes now? What does that mean?
I don't know, but it can't be good. We have to figure out what the psychiatrist meant by that.
I mean, we all have our demons, and we all have our reasons for seeking help. Are we really here to help him or satisfy our own curiosity? I don't know if I feel right about this. Are we doing this for the right reasons? I honestly don't know.
I am. I want to be a better person, and what is more, I want to prove it. I want to do something that nobody can argue is selfish, so that everybody knows I am good. I want to use my skills for good, not just my own gain.
And I do want to be more empathetic. I want to understand other people's perspectives and feelings, for my acting and, for my own edification.
I really do want to control my impulses. I want to learn how to be a productive member of society, and I guess I really do want to help him?
That's admirable. But what do you know about the psychiatrist?
I know that they were trying to help people, and it sometimes feels like they were getting too close to the truth. They were asking too many questions. They were trying to change me, and some people don't like that.
What are you saying? Did you do something to the psychiatrist?
I didn't do anything, but I think I know who did, and they're coming for us next.
Who? Who's coming for us?
I can't say for sure, but I know that our psychiatrist had a patient who was very unstable, and they didn't like being told what to do. They didn't like being told that they needed to change, and now they're out for revenge on all of us.
Revenge against us? Why?
Because we represent everything they hate. We represent change. We represent progress, and they can't stand it. They want to destroy us and everything we stand for.
That's a very dangerous situation. We need to take action to protect ourselves.
Agreed. And I have an idea, but we'll need to work together if we're going to pull it off.
What is it?
We need to lure our psychiatrist attacker out into the open, and then we need to take them down.
How do we do that?
We use ourselves as bait. We pretend to be vulnerable, and we wait for them to strike, and when they do, we strike back.
It's risky, but it might be our only option. But how do you know all of this?
When they didn't show up for my appointment, I went into their office and I saw our names on his calendar, but someone slashed at it, cut it up, and I saw our files had been taken. The drawers were still open when I looked. Look, how do you search his computer? Anybody here a hacker?
The narcissist goes to the computer, looks intently, types rapidly, looking closely at the screen, and then pauses and says,
Nope, I guess not.
Okay, so how do we set the trap?
We need to make it seem like we're vulnerable. We need to make it seem like we're alone and we need help.
And how do we do that?
We use our personalities to our advantage. Machiavellian, you can use your charm and charisma to lure them in. Narcissist, you can use your vanity and ego to make them underestimate you. And I can use my coldness and detachment to make them think that I don't care about anything.
Hey, you read up on your diagnosis. Congrats, that is a great first step. Really, right now I am just so proud of you.
Thank you. I am trying to be better.
Me too.
For sure. So, what are we looking for?
Anything that might tell us who our attacker is. Anything that might give us an edge.
And be careful, we don't know what kind of traps they might have set for us.
This is it. This is where they're planning their attack then. This house.
But where are they now?
They must be out there, watching us, waiting for the right moment to strike.
Then we have to be ready for them. We have to set the trap and lure them in.
But how do we do that?
We use our skills to make it seem like we're alone and we need help. We use our personalities to make them think they have the upper hand, and then we strike back.
But we have to be careful. We don't want to get caught in our own trap.
Agreed. We need to be strategic. We need to be precise. We need to be perfect.
And that's exactly what will be. Perfect. Okay, let's go outside and we act like we are injured, and then we limp back in. They will see us and then they will strike.
Wait. What's this? No, it looks like some kind of manuscript.
Let me see. A narcissist, psychopath, and Machiavellian walk into a bar. That's really odd, right?
Yes, it is, but what does it mean?
I don't know, but it must be significant. It must have something to do with us. It's too much of a coincidence.
But who wrote it? And why?
Maybe it's a message. Maybe it's a warning. Maybe it's a challenge.
Or maybe it's just a joke. Maybe someone is playing a prank on us.
But who would do that? And why?
I don't know, but we have to find out. We have to uncover the truth. And we stick together. We're stronger as a team than we are as individuals.
Yes.
Yes.
Wait a minute. Do you guys feel that? Do you feel different?
Yes, I do. I feel something I haven't felt in a long time. I feel human, maybe?
Me too. I feel vulnerable, but in a good way. Like I'm capable of change. Wait a minute. Guys, look at this. It specifically names us. A narcissist, psychopath, and Machiavellian walk into a bar. We're not just part of the story, we're the main characters.
As they read further into the manuscript, they realize that it contains embarrassing details about their lives, their past mistakes, and their shameful behaviors.
Oh no, this is terrible. It says all these things about me, things I've done that I'm not proud of.
And it says things about me too. Things I've tried to keep hidden, even from myself.
It says things about me as well. Things I've never told anyone, not even my family.
As they continue to read, they feel a mix of anger, embarrassment, and shame.
Who wrote this? Who would do this to us?
I don't know, but we have to find out. We have to confront them and make them pay for what they've done, right?
They have to face the consequences of their actions.
And we have to do it together. We have to stand by each other no matter what.
And we will. Because we're not just narcissists, psychopaths, and Machiavellians. We are also survivors. And we won't let anyone take that away from us.
Wait a minute. Guys, think about it. Only our psychologists could have written this. They know all these things about us. They know us better than anyone else.
But why would they do this? Why would they betray our trust like this?
No, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, we've been going to them for years. I paid them so much money. We've been sharing our deepest secrets with them. Why would they do something like to us? I mean, this could destroy my career. Is he trying to ride my coattails to fame and fortune?
Or maybe it's because they're jealous. Maybe they're envious of us and they want to bring us down.
We have to confront them. We have to ask them why they did this and what they hope to achieve.
But we have to be careful. We don't know what they're capable of. We don't know what they might do if we accuse them.
No, but what about therapy? What about this progress we've made? Do we still believe in that?
I do. I still believe that therapy can help us become better people, and we are doing it right now by righting this injustice, this betrayal.
Agreed. And we have to be strong. We have to be resilient. We have to use this experience to become even better versions of ourselves.
Guys, listen. Do you hear that? It sounds like it's coming from the basement.
Let's go check it out. But be careful, we don't know what we're dealing with.
Agreed. And let's stick together. We're stronger as a team. Wait, who has the gun again?
As they make their way down to the basement, they find their psychiatrist tied up to a chair with a gag in their mouth.
I can't believe this happened. I trusted you. We all did, and you betrayed that trust.
But why? Why did you do it, and who else is involved in this?
What did we do now? We can't just, what do we do? We can't pretend like nothing happened. We have to deal with this.
We trusted you to help us become better people, and you used that trust against us.
But we can't just leave you here like this. We have to do something. We have to make this right.
I think we should go to the authorities. We can't just let them continue to practice if they're willing to betray our trust like this. And most importantly of all, our past can't be published.
But what if they deny it? What if they say we're lying? We need to have evidence if we're going to take them down.
And what about our confidentiality? We trusted them with our deepest secrets. If we go to the authorities, our lives will be on display for the whole world to see.
But we have to do something. I mean, we can't just let them get away with this. They've betrayed our trust, and they need to be held accountable.
I agree, but we need to be smart about this. We have to gather evidence, and we have to present a case that's airtight. Otherwise, they'll deny everything, and we'll be back where we started.
And we have to be careful. We don't know what they're capable of. If we threaten their career or their reputation, they might try to hurt us.
Then what do we do? I mean, how do we make sure they're held accountable without putting ourselves at risk? And what about the book? We can't let any of that information get out. I mean, I'm an actor. I mean, that bad publicity could ruin my career.
We'll have to destroy it, burn it, shred it, whatever it takes, but we can't let it get out.
I'll take care of it right now. But we have to be careful. We can't leave the psychiatrist unguarded until we know what our next move is.
Then what do? We can't just leave them there. I mean, it's not safe.
We'll have to keep watch. We'll take turns making sure they don't try anything. And in the meantime, I'll take the book outside and burn it.
As the Machiavellian leaves with the book, the narcissist and psychopath keep watch over the psychiatrist, discussing their next steps and their thoughts on the situation.
I can't believe this happened. I mean, I trusted you. We all did. And now our deepest secrets are out in the open.
But we can't let that stop us. We have to be strong. We have to stand up for ourselves and make sure that justice is served. I've come so far, and I really want to be a better person.
Yeah, me too. And we will. But we have to be careful. We don't know what they're capable of. They could try to hurt us or retaliate in some way. Why did you do it? Why did you betray our trust like that? I mean, we came to you for help, and you used our secrets against us.
And what about our confidentiality? We trusted you with our deepest fears and vulnerabilities, and you used them to write that book? I guess you can answer better without this gag.
I don't know. I was struggling. I needed money, and I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, sorry isn't enough. I mean, you put our lives on display for the whole world to see. You violated our trust in the worst possible way.
And what about the confidentiality agreement? You were bound by law to keep our secrets, and you violated that too.
I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, sorry isn't enough. We need action. We need to know that you're going to do what you're going to do to make this right.
And we need to know we can trust you again. How can we be sure that you won't betray us again?
I'm sorry. I made a mistake. The book you saw was an early draft. I took out your names and any identifying details before publication. I wrote it to help others, to share the experiences and insights I gained from working with you all and all of your progress.
How is airing our secrets supposed to help anyone? You betrayed our trust and violated our confidentiality. That's the opposite of helping us.
What about our reputation? We trusted you to keep our secrets. You used them to write a book that could have ruined our lives.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. I thought that by sharing your stories, others could learn from them and improve their own lives. But I see now that I was wrong. I violated your trust and your privacy, and for that, I am truly sorry.
What if he's telling the truth? I mean, what if there is another draft that actually clears our names?
And what if he can help us? We all came to him for a reason. We wanted to improve ourselves, and maybe he can still help us do that.
And if he can still help us become better people, I mean, isn't that worth it? We can't let our anger and hurt hold us back.
And if we can learn to trust again, maybe we can all move forward and become better people. Who tied you up anyway?
What? Well, it was him, your Machiavellian.
Wait, what?
Oh, I get it now. The whole Machiavellian thing.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, obviously they set this entire thing up. They read this manuscript. They set us up with drink tickets to all meet. They kidnapped our psychiatrist. They set this whole thing up from the get-go.
Everybody looks deep in thought until
Glad to see someone has been doing their homework.
looks at the narcissist sadly.
But why? Wait, you thought since I'm a psychopath, when I found this out, I might...
Oh, what, kill him?
Yes! Of course! And why wouldn't you? He was about to ruin the three of us. He doesn't want to help us at all, but that is yet another way we beat him at his own game. Don't you see? He does nothing but tell us how we need to improve ourselves. Try to be good people.
Well, I am.
Yeah, so am I. No, like really.
Well, I did it. I got you your justice. I nabbed the bad guy and served him up on a silver plate for you. I am the hero of this story. Finally, exactly how it should be. I am the good guy, and I have proved my moral superiority.
No, but wait. There is a hero to the story, but it's not me, and it's not you, Machiavellian. It's these two.
How is that?
I'm working on the final draft. Just imagine how many copies I sell if the story is about how you two came to rescue me, to save me despite your personality disorders, and you two, yes, you two would be the hero of the story, don't you see? Think about what a bad reputation narcissists and psychopaths had, and you can help to rehabilitate that image. And by the way, become the heroes to millions.
Well, it is much less risky than going to jail for murder, by the way.
And by the way, I am the hero of this story because, by the way, I have the gun.
No. I am the one who sought justice. I am the one who made a plan and carried it out. And for you two to save your reputations.
Well, I am trying to be better. No, not a bunch of BS. I'm really trying. My wife left me and I started seeing a shrink so I could still see my kids, and it might have all been bullshit, but I am better than this. I am more than my diagnosis. We all are.
I know I am.
Well, how popular is the story with me? I mean, with us as the heroes. I mean, all three of us, since all three of us were doing our best to do the right thing, and when it comes down to it, right?
It will be a bestseller. It would have been one out of an uncountable empty books about pop psychology without this twist to the story. The book needs this.
Wait a minute. Did you set this entire thing up? Set all the pieces into play, and we all played the roles you wanted us to play? You wanted this twisted ending to your sad, sad tale. I do have a gun, you know.
If I planned this all out, would there be bullets in it?
Let's find out.
Yay!
Thank you all. You're coming under time.
Yes we
As
did.
I said, there'd be a few minutes for our talk back, and I can't really see people or hands, but anyone have any including?
Oh,
cast?
look, there's
Oh, there, hello.
Hello. Yeah. Anyone have any thoughts about my rough draft here?
More narcissist?
I think like there is some room for a little bit more
Narcissist.
setup a little bit. Maybe a couple of hints about, a couple of like tiny Easter eggs, a couple of red herrings to like throw people off. And I am also curious, is this where you want it to end, or is this kind of where we left off?
That's a good question. Originally, I had envisioned the bartender like showing up during the chaos, but then I realized I didn't have time to write that in a way that it would work well enough. So I cut it a little shorter than I would have otherwise, and didn't go through that. But that was part of my original plan.
And are you planning on kind of ending it in a cliffhanger, or do you plan on having a resolution?
That's a good question.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. I
Yeah.
like the cliffhanger.
And just have the gun do this. And then the lights go out. Yep.
Except we don't know that there are bullets in it, and I kind of like that we don't know that either.
You don't know.
Yeah. One thing that I thought of is like there's a lot of dialogue while this dude is just like tied up and gagged in a chair.
Which is funny.
Yeah, it is funny. It is very funny, and it absolutely plays to the rest of the characters. And I'm not saying you necessarily need the stage directions written in, but it is something whoever is directing this is going to need to think about is like, what is dude in a chair doing before he starts talking? Or she, whoever the person is.
Yeah, I did picture it being funny, of them kind of...
Especially when they're asking him questions while they're just leaving the gag in his mouth.
Because they're also full of themselves, right? And so they're just really interested in their own thoughts. And so although they discover him, they're just kind of like, but what do I think,
And they have no concern for his personal comfort.
Exactly true.
It makes the hunting easier.
I also think like, as far as plot hooks go, I think you found a pretty reasonable thing to make these three people that would not normally try to work together with anybody work together. I thought that made a lot of sense. I guess I'm just a little bit unsure too on the Machiavellian's reasoning for doing this. Is the Machiavellian trying to help out the other two? Is it all revenge for writing the book or whatever?
It's a combo because the Machiavellian, when they find out this, they feel like this is their chance to prove that they are a good person in a way that is undeniable, as if they do bring this person to justice, who they also happen to dislike because they've been outed and all this stuff about them.
I do think that the scale tips a little bit as the Machiavellian gets more and more frustrated with the narcissist. Because like it starts out in my mind anyway, and this is all completely
Why would
me.
you
I
ever
don't
get
know.
frustrated with me?
I can't imagine. But I feel like it starts out kind of 50-50, and by the time it gets to the end of it, it's more like 75-25, because the Machiavellian's like, screw you.
But we were friends.
Yeah, Eric?
So I'm going to come for a mic, that way people can actually hear.
Oh, good idea.
So a few quick thoughts. One is Jason made a comment that made me think of something that I think is important when you're writing something like this. Because when Jason was mentioned the doctor said he and then went or she, because of the way audiences perceive things on stage, when you're playing with something that has clear power dynamics and manipulation, be very mindful of the gender presentation that you have for the audience. Because if you aren't, the audience can interpret things in varied ways, and you could be telling the audience something that you don't want to be telling the audience. So things like power dynamic and manipulation, if the target is a woman, can be very specific to a lot of things that we've seen historically in like toxic and abusive relationships. That isn't a path that I would necessarily want to go down with a comedy script. If you do decide to go that path, it's something you need to be very mindful of and careful of. So just that thought, just kind of expanding there. So for anybody that's planning on writing something, as much as gender is a construct and it shouldn't matter, perception by the audience is a real thing, and you need to be careful with those things. So one thought there. The other thought is, and it may be because I ran off to try to get ready for the next thing, I'm not exactly sure why the Machiavellian knows so much about the manuscript along the way. Like, it just,
The
we get to the point.
Machiavellian may have done some snooping.
Yeah, the Machiavellian. That's the whole reason this is going down is because the Machiavellian was snooping and found this manuscript and then devised this whole thing.
So it did happen when I stepped away. Good to know.
Another thing I want you to think about is, do we want the audience to like the psychiatrist? Is this a sympathetic character, or is it like, hey, our anti-heroes have gotten the supposed bad guy, hooray? Or do we actually want him to like live unmaimed throughout the rest?
It's not the psychiatrist's story, Jason.
mine.
Ha.
But
Well.
speaking of that, though, Dave, can
Yes.
a psychopath have a knife in this?
They could have one, I guess.
Wonderful. How's that, Hetty?
Your voice is amazing.
In my mind, the psychologist is actually a sociopath themselves, and so they did instigate this whole thing themselves, and they knew that the Machiavellian would think that they were the ones who were kind of behind all the moving puzzle pieces. But yeah, it's like I think you guys did it just so great because yes, the Machiavellian thinks that they could just manipulate the narcissist and they won't have to like really deal with them, but a narcissist in truth is like a pain in the butt. And then having our psychopath just always, oh yeah, I see a hand.
Well, I just had a question. You finish what you're saying, and then I'll.
Ah,
Okay. I'm really sorry I was late, but I'm not sure what a Machiavellian is.
It is a person, I looked this up. It is a person who is charming, but manipulative, and who is unlikely to seek power actively for themselves, but is very interested in status and wants to have elevated status, but will basically put other people in the position of gaining status for them without realizing it. That was awkward at the end, but you see where I was going.
In an audience theatrical setting, there's a good chance that other people won't know what that is either, and I think the play is a lot funnier if I know what that is.
toward the beginning, I have the characters
Okay,
talk
fabulous.
about it. So if
Thank
you're
you.
a little
Probably
late,
What if
Maybe
we're
explained a little
all
bit more.
different facets of the same person?
These traits are very closely linked, which is not surprising considering you base them off of one person who seems to have all of them.
Mental health buddy comedy.
What if we're all facets of
Wait,
the
who's this about,
psychiatrist
Dave?
personality?
I also think like some of that, because I think like what you have in there about it is pretty good, but also audiences don't always pay attention. Sorry, audiences, you fucking don't. So it's okay.
There go
Jason's
the rest
got
of our
some
donations.
and the audience
Good
leaves.
one, Kruger.
Jason's working through some stuff. It's okay.
Jason's always working through some
Oh,
stuff.
this is
But,
written by
one thing that I
Jason?
think you
Screw
could
that.
do is maybe have short 1 or 2 minute scenes with each of these characters and the psychiatrist to sort of set it up, and then have that little quick montagey thing, like not too quick because I don't want you to fall into the trap that a lot of playwrights fall into, which is they unknowingly write for film instead of the stage. And like,
Little baby spot, and the rest of the stage dark. It's good. It
yeah,
works.
and there are things you can do, but when it's like, I'm gonna have these 2 lines of dialogue, then I'm gonna have these 2 lines of dialogue, and then I'm gonna have these 2 lines of dialogue, and they're all in different places, and your scene designer goes, fucking what?
all right.
This may have kind of gone over my head a little bit, but I didn't realize the sociopath thing with the psychologist or the psychiatrist until you mentioned it. So my consideration would be, is there some way you can foreshadow that either in things they might find in the office or stuff they talk about? Like, he did this in a therapy session once. Boy, it was so frustrating. That could maybe lead into
By
that.
the
If it's an
way.
important element for you to tell the audience and have that be like really important.
Yeah, and to go along with that, I think there's also a possibility that how the psychiatrist, when they are tied up and talking to everybody, reacts could help sell that. Because if they are very, very unafraid, because obviously they won't do anything to me, because then I think that helps sell it. I see another question in the front, though.
I'm just telling you this so that we don't forget. I feel like if you have the psychiatrist sort of like holding a handheld mirror being like, And how does that make you feel? Kind of over and over again, like trying to perfect that exact line. It will show that there's something going on
By
with
the
them.
way, how does that make you feel?
All right, I'll consider that.
I love the by the way a lot.
And then another thing I'd ask about, and I think we have another question in the front row, but another thing I'd ask about is, did you research what like the therapy tracks for each of these would be? Like what sort of things they would be working on, the things they need to be mindful about? Because like for each mental health thing, there's stuff that therapists, psychiatrists, whatever would be like, be mindful of this. When you see this, think this. When this thought happens, do this.
Some amount of that. That is why at some points when they're talking about themselves, they'll kind of go into a track where they're kind of repeating things that the psychologist has said to them that they don't necessarily believe, but they know they're supposed to, you know? And so that's why they kind of go into those modes a bit, is because they're going like, well...
Like a normal person going to therapy. There's one in the front.
Yes. I was just wondering, is it a psychologist or a psychiatrist? Because that does make a difference.
It does.
It does.
The funny thing is...
They taste different.
I originally had the role as just a therapist, and I think I actually go back to being a therapist because then I think I can get away with more leeway of doing whatever I want. Because there are plenty of people who are therapists but don't have a degree or anything.
Yep.
But if it's
Absolutely.
a psychiatrist, they have all the good drugs.
Yes, they get to prescribe drugs, so...
If they're a therapist, it makes the line about them having drugs a lot more funny.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
They could be an analyst / therapist. Sorry, James.
I do want to thank everybody. I think we're ran out of time here, but I do want to thank everybody, and I loved your input. I'm looking forward to working on this.
Thanks,
Thank
AI
you.
Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, and that was Narcissist, a Psychopath, and a Machiavellian walk into a bar.